Historically, the area that is today known as Black Swan Inn has been linked to a Native American tribe that goes back to 5,500 BCE. This connection stretches back to the historical period. In the year 1842, the territory served as the setting for a conflict that was waged between the forces of the Texas and those of the Mexican government. This was yet another attempt by Mexico to reclaim the territory that it had lost as a consequence of the Battle of San Jacinto. But, much like the previous efforts that had been made since 1836, this one was failed. The dairy farm that Henrich Mahler, a German immigrant, created 35 years later was situated on the same plot of land that he had purchased for $2,220 in the year 1887. Mahler, who had been mourning the death of his wife for 2 years, eventually gave in to his own sentiments of lovelessness 2 years later. This event brings about an unforeseen turn in the history of the house. The Holbrooks and the Woods family both made the purchase of the property not too much longer after that event. There were sisters who were married to each other in both families, and the whole group of them started their own company together. As soon as the renovations were finished, they decided to give the house the name White Gables. In addition, once Jolene Woods tied the knot with Hall Park Street, the pair took full ownership of White Gables throughout their marriage. Jolene was just 38 years old when she was struck by a dreadful disaster, which is a terrible circumstance. Cancer was the reason of her passing, and her husband was having a very tough time coming to terms with the loss of his wife and other family members. To the point that on August 5, 1965, he used a belt to hang himself from the poster that was connected to his bed. This was on account of the terrible degree of his depression. Even though there were speculations that Park Street's death was the result of a murder-related occurrence, the police came to the conclusion that it was a suicide. This was the official determination made by the authorities. It is unknown who it is that continues to linger at the Black Swan Inn. Is it Park Street, or could it be Mrs. Woods, Jolene's mother, who died dead in her chamber at the property due to the effects of old age? There is a great likelihood that both Park and Mrs. Woods are haunting the Black Swan Inn in Victoria. This is a spot where there is a high probability that both of them are haunting the area. In particular, one of the bedrooms that is situated on the top level has been cited by a number of visitors as the spot where they've seen ghosts. Other areas around the property have also been mentioned. There is a possibility that the ghost of a young woman may be seen sitting on the bed at that spot on occasion. Despite the fact that her last resting place was in one of the bedrooms located downstairs, those who have had the good fortune to establish eye contact with this female ghost often compare her to a younger version of Mrs. Woods. This is the case despite the fact that her passing occurred in one of the bedrooms. A significant number of individuals have reported experiencing a crushing and oppressive weight on their shoulders when they were in the area. Other paranormal phenomena that have been seen at the Black Swan Inn include temperature decreases that are obvious, noises that cannot be explained, and lights that are often turned off and on at strange intervals. All of these things have been observed. On the other hand, the presence of a man who has been seen walking about the house in a furious way is arguably the most unnerving spectral presence that has been observed at the location. It has been stated that he is the ghost of Hall Park Street, according to the tale that has been going around. Is it conceivable that he is looking for his beloved wife Jolene, whose spirit is also said to haunt the inn from time to time? This female spirit seems to walk about the property without any particular destination while dressed in a white robe. Yet, it appears that they never come into direct contact with one another. It would seem that their love continues to take distinct directions even after they have both departed away. There is a well-known fact that the ghosts who reside at Victoria's Black Swan Inn are just as active as the living people that stay there. In some circumstances, the ghostly boy is known to play practical jokes and throw tantrums. This is because the spirit of a child tends to behave in a manner that is only seen when there are actual children around. In modern times, the Black Swan Inn functions more as an event venue than a conventional inn. Yet, if you happen to be in the vicinity, you should not miss the opportunity to pay it a visit. Also, if you do happen to come across one of the numerous spirits that are now residing on the property, you should keep in mind that it is very unlikely that they would follow you back to your home. This is something you should keep in mind if you do happen to come across one of these spirits.